Don't really need a reason to star you, that's all you. Don't pretend I got a reason to call you, it's not true. I only got a couple people to talk to, and it's not you. Yeah. And I don't even got the patience to argue, so are you out of your mind? I got a lot of reasons to fight, I got a lot of reasons to drive over you, but I put my pride to the side. I put my never stop. Had to take a turn and turn it into something that's new. Say you miss me, wasn't missing, is a clock in you. Wait and see, cause it's something new and improved. Yeah, yeah. Keep checking these chickens. Yeah, and I go speed racing for the record. Yeah, and I achieve greatness, getting better by the second. Yeah, and I go speed racing. We ain't finished just yet. Don't stress it, baby. I keep creeping. A speed demon. She keep dreaming. I can't see him. A speed demon. Yeah, they try to say I'm out of my mind, but now they're singing every line. Got a lot of mountains to climb. Had to leave some baggage behind. And there's something that's wrong with me that's paving me a new lane and giving me an energy. And there's something in the way she made me certain I'm enough every day. She put the loving on me. And all the people that be doubting on me, they gave me witness my redemption. Now they up on my seat, got them tapping their feet. Had to put my heart on my sleeve. Yeah, he's checking these chickens. Yeah, and I go speed racing for the record. Yeah, and I achieve greatness, getting better by the second. Yeah, and I go speed.
What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. It is Sunday morning, which means week 3 of the fantasy football season is here, and we got some last-second start-sit questions to answer for you guys as we head into the week. So hopefully you guys are coming loaded with all of these questions for me. I see we got a bunch of people in the chat already. Milo, Rob, Jag, Jake, Johnny, Caleb, JMO, everybody who's been in here early, getting the questions in. I appreciate you guys. I am going to remind you guys at the beginning of the stream, as always, if you guys want to support the channel, you can always do that by hitting the like button. I do have a like goal today of 25 likes for this stream. So if we can get to 25 likes, that would be great. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and do that. But if you also want to go the extra mile, you want to support this channel just a little bit more, you can always go do that over on Underdog. Right now, they are offering new customers who go in, play $5 using our promo code LeagueFFB, an extra $50 in bonus funds. And if you sign up today, they are going to be giving you a gimme pick as well, which is going to be Lamar Jackson, I think, for tomorrow. So it's Lamar Jackson tomorrow. I think it's Patrick Mahomes tonight, something like that. But basically, it's a gimme pick. You put that into your pick 'em play, and you will also get the extra, basically an extra leg one in your pick and play there. So go ahead and do that. Like I said, support the show over at League FFB, but that's not what we're here for today. We're here for a bunch of start sit questions. So let's hop right into them and get this thing started. All right, Milo with the first question. He says, Smitty, Bill, or Scattaboo for my last flex spot. I am going to go with Smitty here. Not super excited about Bill this week. I am tempering the expectations, and Scattaboo is like a desperation flex play for me. Dan says, yo, what's good? Still looking for my first win in a big money league, so I need your infinite wisdom more than ever. Egbuka, Dobbins, Ramondre, or Wandell in my last flex, 12-team full PPR. Okay, so it sounds like Egbuka is probably going to be... Sorry, I didn't even mean to play that one. I'm playing this one. So there you go. I didn't need to give you guys the intro song again. It does sound like Egbuka is going to be a little bit limited. He's a player that I think is very boom-bust this week because of the role that we don't know what's really going to happen with it. I do think because of that, I would go with Dobbins. Dobbins would be my play. I think he can get into the end zone this week. It's a little bit of a tough matchup with the Chargers, but he's definitely the safest play here in this group, so I would go with Dobbins. here, just because I don't really know what is going to happen with Igbokwe. But if you need ceiling play, if it looks like your projection is probably, you're projected to lose this matchup and you need a boom game from somebody, Igbokwe is probably the guy to do that. Is CD for Neighbors a fair trade, or should I ask for more? I currently have CD. I think it's a fair trade. I would prefer CD, but they're probably pretty close. I would prefer CD though. Jag says, so I guess pick 2. JSN, Tet, or DK, no pressure. And then he says, I think these all kind of came in out of order, Jack. So I'm going to start it here. He says, ladies and gentlemen, the best day of the week is upon us. Good luck to all in your respective leagues. He says, factors that are messing with me this week: JSN with a stomach bug, Tet with Bryce as his quarterback. That being said, do you still go with JSN as he is a target hog? He says DK is also an option. Great matchup against New England. So I guess pick 2. JSN, Tet, or DK, no pressure. So I would personally go with JSN and Tet. So I think we got those in the order. They came in out of order for me because the stream wasn't live yet, but I think we got them, and I would go with JSN and Tetaroa McMillan, Jag. Jake says, T-Mac, anytime touchdown lock. I don't hate it. Johnny says, pick 2, T-Law, Stroud, or Murray. It's a great question. I want to say, based off of my rankings right now, I think Stroud is the lowest. It is Murray, and then T-Law, and then Stroud. So yeah, Stroud is my lowest in my rankings. I would go with the other 2, Murray and T-Law. Caleb, appreciate you being here, man. He says Nick Chubb or Hendo this week. My running back 2 is hurting. I would go with I'd be going with Henderson. I think he's the big play guy. Nick Chubb is like a very safe floor of like 7 to 10 points, but I don't think he really gives you any ceiling at all. So I'm going to go with Hendo. JMO says, to all the dynasty players out there, do you force a retool if you start with a ton of injuries and L's to start the season? Potentially, I would say. I don't know if I would force it. Sometimes it's just going to depend on where you're at in your standings, what your team looks like overall, and how many L's we're talking about. Like, is it the first 2 games? I'm not too worried. Is it the first 6 games? Yeah, now we're talking about probably retooling this for next season. So I think that's probably more so my thoughts. I'd love to have a little bit of a deeper conversation about that, just based off of your roster and your record and stuff. JMO says flex Tet or Marion Hampton. I would go with Tet. Ant says DK or Odunze for my flex. I'm going with Odunze. I think he's going to have a big week again. Robo Chris says, not a start sit question, but would you pick up Spears off of waivers? Yes, I would. He was on my stash video this week as a guy a little premature probably because he's still a week or 2 away from even probably being negotiated or talked about in waiver episodes, but I had him on a stash video, so I would definitely be looking at him right now. Nate says non-PPR, you got JCM, Monty, or Dobbins, and Igbokwe or Pickens. So if we're going with the running backs between JCM, Monty, and Dobbins, I am going to go with Dobbins. And then with the wide receivers, Igbokwe or Pickens, I will go Pickens this week. Think that game's going to be a shootout. And like I said, Igbokwe does sound like he might have a little bit of limitations to his game. Maybe it's just speak. I don't know, but it does make me a little bit nervous. Saad says, 14-man PPR league looking bleak. Got to start Travion Henderson or some low-end wide receivers like Manor, Mooney, Golden, or Tillman. I feel like Henderson is the play, but him being in the doghouse scares me. I think he's the play too. The only other guy that I would probably be looking at would be Tillman, but it's a horrible matchup. So it's Henderson or Tillman for me. I probably would go Henderson still. Jag says Jennings is out this week by the sounds of it. Yeah, I got that news. I saw that came in. It does sound like he's not going to play, which does bump Ricky Pearsall just a tiny bit up the board. Keenan Allen or Wan'Dale Robinson? Give me Keenan Allen here. Raphael says need help on a wide receiver slot and a flex. Full PPR, it's Chuba, Tet, Ladd, JMO. I'm scared of the Panthers O-line and quarterback. JMO, I'm scared of Goff. Away games, Lamar's 24-2 against NFC teams too. Ladd isn't being loved right now. I would still go with Ladd McConkey. So he would be my wide receiver play. And then for your flex, I'm going to go with Tetaroa McMillan. It's going to be Ladd and Tetaroa. I'm going to keep JMO and Chuba on the bench. I think that Chuba matchup's a little bit tough for him this week. Hawk or Kraft? Wentz makes Hawk more appealing considering the Kraft injury. Yeah, it's tough. I don't really know what Kraft's role is going to look like, but I do have Kraft one spot ahead of Hawkinson in my rankings this week. So even though he makes me nervous, I just like what I've seen to start the year a little bit more than I like it with Hawkinson. B Money says, is Igbuka startable? I think he is startable. I would be tempering my expectations with him this week. I will tell you guys where I kind of have him in my rankings right now with the injury news and some of the stuff. I kind of have him as wide receiver 28-ish range. So he's kind of more a flex play for me this week than he is a wide receiver 2. And I think that's, the New York Jets matchup. He's probable to play, but it does sound like there's going to be potentially some limitations. I will read you exactly what it said. This was 10 hours ago that I had this. Igbuka hip/groin, who remains listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Jets, is in line to play, but he is expected to have his snap count monitored per Adam Schefter of ESPN. So that's what's making me a little bit nervous with Igbuka. I still think you can play him as a flex, but he's risky. He's very risky. Let's go back there, and then let's pull on this next one. That's going to be Felix. Felix says Mariota or Penix, or Keenan Allen or Igbuka, and Zach Ertz or Hollywood. 1.5 tight end premium. Okay, so I'm assuming this is 3 separate questions, so I'm going to answer them as such. Mariota or Penix, I'm going with Penix. Keenan Allen or Igbuka, I'm going to go with... I think I'm going to go Keenan Allen. Zach Ertz or Hollywood, I'm going to go with Hollywood. So Penix, Keenan, Hollywood. Logan says, Bill Pittman or Henderson, who are the 2 best starters here? It's probably Pittman and Bill, not Henderson. Dylan Sampson or Pacheco? Yes, it's that bad. Give me Pacheco. And yes, it's bad. Yes, it's bad, JMO. Jeff, full PPR. I need to choose 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and a flex from Pickens, Evans, Pearsall, Genty, and Jameson Williams. So let's see. I am going to be going with the running back. It's got to be Genty still. So you're going to take Genty as the running back. The 1 wide receiver is going to be Evans, and the flex is between Pickens, JMO, and Pearsall. And I think I'm going to go Pickens this week. I like that matchup, like I said. So Genty, Evans, Pickens are going to be the 3 that I take there, Jeff. Bucks and Bolts says, who to flex over Igbuka if needed full PPR? It's Connor, Hollywood, Pearsall, and Dobbs. If I have to pick one between those guys to flex over him this week, I would, for the record, play Igbuka over those guys if he is active, which it does sound like he's going to be active. But if you want to go a different direction, it's Pearsall for me. Smitty says, what are the kickers to stream this week and start 2 running backs? Kickers. Usually don't talk too much about kickers. I tell this to people all the time. I don't play in leagues with defenses and kickers, so I don't usually do too much there. But I will say my top 10 kickers in my rankings this week, maybe you can find one of these guys to pick up and stream. It's Loop, Brandon Aubrey, Cameron Dicker, Chris Boswell, Matt Prater, Cam Little, Kyemi Fairbairn, Brandon McManus, Harrison Butker, Chase McLaughlin, and then I'll give you 2 more, Jake Bates and Jake Elliott. Those are the guys that are kind of in the top of the kickers for me. To start 2 running backs, you got Monty, Henderson, Connor. I would go with Monty and Connor. To start 2 wide receivers, you got Sutton, Olave, Higgins, Myers. I'm going to go with Sutton and Higgins still this week. So let's go to this question here from Cole. Cole says, Hollywood, Judkins, or Franklin? I'm going to be playing Hollywood. Insidious says, streaming bright and early today. How we doing today, Andrew? I'm doing good, man. I am a little bit tired. My wife and I were out a little bit late last night. We went to go see him in the theater. So it was the Jordan Peele football movie. It was a pretty decent movie. I actually enjoyed it. I know some people have given it pretty poor reviews, but I thought it was pretty good. So a little tired today because we were out last night, but it was fun. Let's see. Capo says, Killed by the injury bug in a super flex league. I feel that, by the way. I have JD5 and Purdy as well, just like you. And so you have to start Geno, Bryce, or Mariota in super flex. I think I would go with Geno in a super flex. It's better than where I am, Capo. I am starting Kyler Murray for my one quarterback because I have JD5, Purdy, and Kyler. But I had to trade. It's a dynasty league. I had to trade for Carson Wentz this week on the cheap to try and make sure to get a guy in my super flex spot. Wasn't great, but I'm going to be rooting for Wentz today, I guess, whether I like it or not. I was going to either way, but now I have like actual fantasy repercussions for his performance, which is always going to be great. I forgot to ask about my quarterback in the same league. One quarterback, 6-point passing touchdowns. T-Law, Browning, Rodgers, or do I ride with the hot Danny Dimes? It's absolutely Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes would be who I'm playing there, Dan. Ant says, Tucker Kraft or Tyler Warren this week? It's Tyler Warren. Salute. He says, Connor or Scattaboo for my last flex spot. I'm going with Connor there still. Julian says, start 2, Mike Evans, Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker. You're going to be playing Kenneth Walker for certain. I really like the matchup for him, especially with Charbonnet out right now. Evans and Brown. Give me Evans, especially because Igbuka's a little bit limited this week. Who do I flex, Brody? Pick 2. Pickens, Olave, Hampton, Hollywood, Franklin. It's going to be Pickens. And it's between Hampton and Olave for me, but I think I'm going to go with... Olave. So give me Pickens and Olave. Report just came out that Scat is the lead back now. Yeah, I did see that he is potentially the lead guy. But... it's a tough matchup. The Chiefs are pretty good against running backs. I mean, before the game, I was looking at some of the Scattaboo betting lines, and he's projected like 50 yards, and it's like plus 200 for a touchdown. So he's not projected that big of a game this week either. Lightning McQueen says, pick 2, or PPR, 2 running backs and a flex. Chase Brown, Javonte, Breece Hall, QJ, Olave, Judy. It's the first 3. It's Javonte, Breece Hall, and Chase Brown, the 2 running backs in the flex. Those are the guys that I would be playing. Cole says him as in the Mahomes documentary. No, it's not a Mahomes documentary, but I get you. Insidious says him is a new horror-ish movie by Jordan Peele at Cole. Yeah, it was like, it's like a high school phenom who ends up going to college and being like this really good quarterback, and it's like kind of like his transition to the pros, but it's a little bit of like, if you want to be the GOAT, you kind of got to sell your soul type thing. It's like a horror thing, but Marlon Wayans is in it, and it was pretty good. It was a good movie overall, but yeah, it's kind of a horror-ish movie. I wouldn't say too much of like, it's not scary, but yeah, it's a Jordan Peele movie. If you like Jordan Peele as a producer, I love Jordan Peele's movies and stuff like that. Us, Get Out, some of the other stuff. Like, I think all of that stuff is good, and this was just as good as some of the other stuff. So I like it. Danny says, pick 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 running back. Genti, Javonte, Tet, Odunze. Ooh, this is a tough one. Wow. The wide receiver is Odunze. The running back is Javonte. So I'm between Genti and Tet. I think I'm going to go with... Tet's the safe play. I'm going Tet. Odunze, Javonte, and Tet. Yeah, that feels crazy putting Genti on the bench, but I think that's what I'm doing as the safe play. Where are we at? Insidious says Peel to go, and Cole says I was joking because the memes of Mahomes selling his soul. Yeah, I get you. But let's see. Different league. Pick 2, please. Ladd, Swift, Henderson, Golden. Give me Ladd. Give me Swift. Yeah, that's it. That was easy. Give me Ladd and Swift. J-Mo says, in a Dynasty Superflex as a contender, would you rather have Dak or CJ straight up? Wow. I mean, as a contender, if I'm only looking at production, I would rather have Dak Prescott. CJ's not going to match the production that Dak has. However, in Dynasty, the value of Stroud is going to be worth more than that. So I would not trade CJ straight up for Dak, but I would prefer Dak straight up in a contending window, if that makes sense. Mark Andrews or Kraft and a half-point tight end premium. This is not Mark Andrews. This is Tucker Kraft for me pretty easily. TS says T or DJ Moore PPR. I need some high upside. I think I would go DJ Moore in this situation. I like that. I think that game's going to be high scoring. So if you're looking for high upside, that's probably going to be the highest scoring game of the week, or at least that's what I'm projecting, and that's what betting markets are projecting is the highest scoring game of the week. Jonnu Smith or Brenton Strange. Let's check my rankings because I don't know where these guys are off the top of my head. Strange for me comes in higher than Jonnu, so I would go Strange this week. Would you play Bill over Hampton? I don't think I would be playing Bill over Hampton. I do have Hampton as my running back 25, and I do have Bill as 26. So they're close. They're back to back, but I would still play Hampton over Bill. Goddard or Jonnu? I would go Goddard. Do I start Herbert or Daniel Jones this week? Herbert has a rough matchup. I would still be playing Herbert personally. I have Herbert right now as my QB4 against Denver, and I have Daniel Jones as my QB9 against Tennessee. So I would be playing Herbert. Dixon says pick 2. Full PPR, QJ, Sutton, D-Mont, Judkins, Jennings. Jennings is not going to play, Dixon, so it's going to be Sutton for me, and I think I'm going D-Mont. So Sutton and D-Mont. Thoughts on having auto subs on? We just turned them on in my leagues this year, so I'm not against it. As long as the subs play after the player that you are subbing, if that makes sense. That's something you can fix in the settings, but as long as they play after like a normal sub would, then that's fine with me. VBZ says half PPR, Jennings is out. I have JSN, Mike Evans, Puka, Pickens. Do you take anyone out for Ricky because he's the number 1 versus Arizona? No, I would play all of those guys, I think, over Ricky still. Start Kraft or Kelsey? I would be starting Kraft over Kelsey. In a Dynasty non-Superflex half PPR league, I sold Brees in a late 26th second for BTJ. I'm a contender, but I feel like I got a really good value to acquire BTJ. What are your thoughts? That is great value. I do like that, and I would absolutely take the BTJ side. JSN on the flu game or Io Manor? Colts secondary is pretty banged up, but Io for Io, but obviously JSN is JSN. Yeah, I'd still go JSN. I wouldn't try and Galaxy Brain that too much. Would you start Judkins or Franklin over Judy? I would not start Franklin over Judy. Judkins, I would consider it, but I still think I would go Judy. I think they're just going to have to... I mean, we know how good that Green Bay defense has been to start the year, and neither matchup is good for Judkins or Judy, but I do think they're going to have to throw the football more than they're going to have to run it. So give me Judy. Bold prediction, Giants over the Chiefs. I don't have the balls to choose them in the pick'em pool. I don't agree there, but I would love to see you put your money where your mouth is in the pick'em pool. My bold prediction today is, or I guess just like an underdog pick. I saw like sports books have the Raiders as underdogs to the Commanders. I think the Raiders beat the Commanders this week, so that's my underdog pick of the week. JMO says flex Romeo Doubs, Quentin Johnston, Diami Brown, or Travis Hunter in a half PPR. I'm between Hunter and QJ. I think I would go QJ. I need to stash one. Who would you pick up? Hollywood, Mooney, Io Manor, Downs, Toot, and Sampson. You have to stash one. I would prefer to stash running backs, 2 wide receivers. Io Manor is very interesting, but Tootin's probably the guy that I'm picking up and stashing if I only have one spot. There's Christian Watson I could stash. What do you think about that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Igbuka or Ridley? I think I'm still going Igbuka here. Let me double check where I have Ridley in my rankings. I haven't been high on this Titans offense. They haven't looked good. So I think I would still take Igbuka. And I think I'll just roll with that. Yeah, I'm going Igbuka. Smitty says Giants win. I want to see some of this happen in the Pick'em League, man. Start Kyron or Mason? Great question. Mason should be pretty good this week. I have Jordan Mason right now in PPR leagues. I have Jordan Mason as a top 16-ish running back play. I do have Kyron Williams at 21, so I would go Jordan Mason over Kyron Williams. Smitty says, do you stash Monungai? I think you can. He's a guy that I would be picking up. This should be a pretty good game. Obviously, you need to pick him up before this game because I think there's a chance he's on waiver wire videos next week as like Monungai looked like he was more involved. People want to pick him up, blah, 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 blah. It's probably going to happen, so I would be trying to stash him now if you can. All right, we are caught up, so I'm going to go through and just make sure that we don't have any extra news right now as far as ins and outs. Igbuka is officially active, by the way. We knew that he was kind of trending that way, but he is officially active. It does sound like Browns are going to be without their starting right tackle, Jack Conklin. It does sound like Tucker Kraft is active today versus the Browns. The Vikings are getting some guys back. So Christian Darrisaw is going to be back in the lineup, which is going to be huge for that team to have him back in the lineup. Juwan Jennings is not playing. These are kind of the inactives and stuff. Xavier Legette is not going to be playing today, so if you have Hunter Renfrow and you're in a pinch, you can maybe play Renfrow, but it only helps a guy like Tetero McMillan. Other than that, I think that's about all the news that has come in so far. So we should be good. It kind of comes in slowly in the mornings. Obviously, one that was questionable this week, Tyler Warren was a guy who was questionable this week. Should be able to come in and be fine. But it does look like that's about where we're at. So I'll pop right back into the questions. And Insidious says, should I bench McLaurin with Mariota this week for Odunze? Absolutely. Even if McLaurin had Daniels this week, I'd be benching him for Odunze. Skylar says, pick 2. Marv, Olave, Pickens, Igbuka. Give me... this is tough. And does it say PPR? It doesn't say PPR. I'm going to assume it is. I would go... I think I'm going to go Igbuka. Actually, no. I think I'm going Igbuka Pickens, I think. Those are the guys. I'm debating on if I want Marv in the lineup, but I don't know what to do with Marv right now, dude. I think I'm going Pickens and Igbuka. Those are the two that I'm playing. Bench 2, Keenan Allen, Hampton, Igbuka, Olave. I'm going to bench Hampton and Olave. So I'm starting Igbuka and Keenan Allen. Start 1, Tracy or Scattaboo. Give me Scattaboo over Tracy. Troy Franklin or Matthew Golden? I would go Troy Franklin over Matthew Golden. Let's see. What else we got? JCM or Hampton? I need help this week. I think I'd still go Hampton over JCM. They're back to back in my rankings though, Taylor. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Full PPR, 2 flex. You got Pearsall, Swift, Hunter, Franklin, Christian Kirk. It's Pearsall and Swift. That's a pretty easy start sit in my opinion. Why are you starting Keenan Allen over Wan'Dale? Wan'Dale has had some big plays that have obviously translated to production, but big plays are not necessarily something that I think we can keep relying on. Keenan Allen is just involved. I think it's the better offense, and so he's just, to me, the safer floor play, and probably has just as high of a ceiling as Wan'Dale. Start 2 of these QBs in a 0.25 points per carry Superflex league. You got Dimes, T-Law, Penix, Browning, leaning towards Dimes and Penix. I would go Dimes for sure. I do have, I want to say I have T-Law over Penix. Nope, actually I do have Penix one spot over T-Law. So I guess I'm going with Penix and Dimes as well. We got Fannin over Ferguson this week. No way. No way in hell. Ferguson is a top play at the tight end position for me. I have him as high as my tight end 3 this week. He's a top 3 play at the position for me. Pollard or Hampton? Pollard. So then Hampton or Marv? I'm going Marv over Hampton. And he says JCM or Marv then. I would go Marv over both. I realized I didn't even pick that up. I just read it off the side of the screen. So Marv or JCM. I would go Marv over Hampton and JCM. Will says start 2 wide receivers in a flex. You got JSN, Tet, Odunze, Mason, Connor. It's the first 3 for me. It's JSN, Odunze, and Tetaroa McMillan. Those are the guys that I'm playing this week in the 2 wide receivers in the flex. All right. So there we are. We're about 30 minutes in, folks. I usually go for about an hour as long as the questions allow it. This morning we are caught up now. We're at about 21 likes right now on the stream too. So if you guys haven't liked the stream and I have answered your question, or you're just enjoying spending your time here, do me a favor, hit the like button. Let's get that to 25. I said my like goal today was 25 likes. So if we could get 4 more people to do that, that would be great. And as always, we're at the halfway part of the stream, so I'm going to hit you guys with another ad. But if you want to go above and beyond and you want to support this channel, you want to support the show, you can always do so by signing up over on Underdog. If you've never played over there, new customers who sign up using code LEAGUEFFB and play $5 on their website, whether that be in a best ball tournament, whether that be in a weekly matchup, a battle royale, or you want to do a pick'em play, if you play $5, they will give you $50 in bonus cash. And by signing up using that promo code LEAGUEFFB, they will also give you a gimme pick. So you can do that over on Underdog if you haven't. And like I said, it does really support the show. So that's the above and beyond extra step if you guys want to do it. But if not, and you just want to support us for free, or you can't support us the other way, and that's the best you can do, hit the subscribe and hit the like button. And we're more than appreciative of you if you just do those things for us. Taylor says, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate the help. No worries, man. Appreciate you. And Keenan or Debo? That's a good question. I want to say Debo's higher in my rankings. I do have Debo as wide receiver 22. Keenan is wide receiver 24. So I do have Debo just a couple spots higher there. Everyone is saying Tet over Genty. I don't like wide receiver over running back for volume plays. I think it depends on your league. If you're in a full PPR, Tetaroa McMillan is kind of a volume play wide receiver. He's seeing double-digit targets every week. Legette's not going to be in the lineup this week, so there's a chance that he sees even more than he's seen, even if it's just 1 or 2 more than he's seen over the last couple of weeks. And I think he has just as good of touchdown opportunities as Genty and things like that. I don't know, man. I feel like McMillan is the safer play, and I think he has about as high of the ceiling as Genty does too. So I wouldn't overthink it too much. Insidious says, I feel like at this point I got to stick with Hampton, but it's crazy considering starting Pacheco over Hampton. Yeah, I would still go Hampton, but it is kind of crazy where we're there. A-Rod says, can I ask a dynasty question? Absolutely. Go ahead, man. Ask whatever you want. You don't even have to ask a fantasy football question if you don't want to, but ask whatever you want, man. Noel says, Jerry Jeudy or Keenan Allen in a full PPR. I'm going Keenan Allen. He is a top 24 play for me this week, and Jerry Jeudy is not that, let's just say, to say the least. Ronnie says, good morning, Andrew. Thank you for your knowledge always. Do I start Keenan Allen or Dobbins in a half PPR league? Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, Ronnie. Thank you for the good morning message, and thank you for the compliment. When it comes to this question, in a half PPR league, I think I'm still playing Keenan Allen this week, But I guess it's going to come down to touchdown opportunities for Dobbins. Let me just check really quick because I'm curious now. The touchdown odds for J.K. Dobbins this week. They got him at plus 162 for an anytime. Keenan's at plus 240. I think I'm going Keenan. We got a super chat here from Juan Dier. He says Baker or Caleb, Henderson or Judkins, and half-point PVR. So appreciate you for the super chat. Let's go through and look at my rankings for these questions. For my quarterback pick here between Baker and Caleb, I do have them back-to-back in my rankings. Caleb is one spot higher than Baker Mayfield. So I think I would play Caleb versus this Dallas defense who does rank second to last against quarterbacks. So give me Caleb Williams. And then for Henderson and Judkins, that's an interesting question, given that both of these guys are kind of still being worked into their offenses. I think, though, I'm going to go with Henderson just because that Green Bay matchup is really tough for Judkins. So give me Caleb and Henderson here for these two questions. Appreciate you again. Timbers says Franklin Downs Golden Eye Manor pick 2. Man, I think I'm going Franklin and Io Manor. I think those are the two that I'm playing. I took over a rebuilding team that was pretty awful. I literally the only players are Bo, T-Law, Judkins, and Bowers. I'm trying to move off of Bowers, but like nobody in the league cares to pay his value. What the F do I do? Yeah, that's tough because I feel like you are kind of moving him when he's a little bit banged up. But I think you're right. You just continue to try and move Bowers or down tier Bowers. You may have to get a little bit creative with his value. Maybe break him up into a 2-for-1. Maybe try and go cross positionally where you can move like Bowers for a wide receiver. Like, could you go Bowers to Tedero McMillan plus something in a tight end premium potentially? So I would say that's the right track. But you may have to be patient to see Bowers put up a big game or two in a row for people to really, get excited about him again. Drake May or Sam Darnold? Give me Drake May easily. Franklin or Diggs and a half PPR for your wide receiver 4. I'm going to go Diggs over Franklin. And Ramondre or Henderson? Wow. I've moved Ramondre over Henderson in my rankings this week. So I have Ramondre just a couple spots higher. So I guess give me Ramondre. Rough, man. Rough that we're there with these rookies, man. Let's see. I just got a couple more Twitter notifications. Let's see what those came in as. It's just people repeating the same news. Leggett is out. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no real news coming in yet. All right, A-Rod says it's a non-tight end premium league. I actually did try for Tet, and I even said F it and offered Bowers in a late first. I have 4 and a 3 and 4. Bro said no. Wow. Yeah, I mean, also the fact that it's a non-tight end premium league and you have Bowers is tough too, because I think that makes him a little bit less valuable. Let's see what we could potentially do here. You could try and go a whole bunch of different ways. Could you try and move him for a guy like Caleb Williams? Could you try and move him for a guy like JSN? Could you try and move him for a Brian Thomas Jr., who's a little bit undervalued right now, and buy low on BTJ? Like, those would be moves that I would try and make, because even if you're getting out cross positionally, like grabbing another quarterback, like I said, Caleb Williams. I know you said you have T-Law and you have Bo Nix, but if you do that, could you then move T-Law for a wide receiver or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, it sets up a second move. So that's probably what I would be trying to do. But BTJ might be one you could try and buy low on BTJ, or maybe you could try and go buy low on Genty instead, and just have the running back instead of the tight end. Or one of these other running backs, Hampton, something like that. You know what I mean? Like one of these guys that hasn't performed very well. Pick'ems has been fun this year. Cool idea from you guys. Appreciate it, man. I'm just always looking for more ways to do things with you guys as part of our community here. You know, this year the Pick'ems was easy. It was kind of a last-second idea. I'm thinking next year maybe doing it's called a guillotine league, but I think Sleeper calls them chopped. A chopped league with you guys or something, where we could do a 16-team league, and every week somebody gets eliminated for being the lowest scorer. Like, we could do a chopped league together next year or something. That might be fun to do. But I've never played a guillotine league. I've never played a chopped league, so it might be fun to have me try it for the first time with you guys, and just have a way to do it. Maybe everybody throw in, $20 or something, and we play for a pot. But we'll see. It's fun ways to do things with you guys, so I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Big Blue says, Igbuka, T, Pearsall, or Marvin Harrison Jr., you start one. The answer is, oh my gosh, man, this is so tough. I think I'm still going with Igbuka. It's so risky to do that, but I think I'm still going Igbuka. Oh, yeah. Jack says the pick'ems changed. Giants over the Chiefs. I love it. Bradley says, how you feeling about Igbuka potentially limited? Bench him for Chubb or Pacheco? No, I would not bench him for Chubb or Pacheco. I know he's going to be limited this week. He's a player that I probably would be viewing as a flex option, but those guys are just flex options as well, so I'd still go with the most talented player, and to me, that's Igbuka. Igbuka or Sutton, I would be going with Sutton here over Igbuka. You would do Caleb straight up for Bowers. It's a super flex, you said, right? It's a super flex? Yeah, I'm going back to look. If it's a super flex, A-Rod, yes, I would do. I'd probably prefer the quarterback than the tight end, especially because it's not tight end premium. Big Dog says, full PPR tight end premium, start to Kraft, Igbuka, Ertz, James Conner, or Marvin Harrison Jr. New subscriber. Thanks, Brody. Appreciate you being a new subscriber. For this question, if I'm starting two of these guys in a tight end premium, I think I'm still going to go with Igbuka and Marvin Harrison Jr. Those are going to be the two guys. Insidious says, chop leagues are lit. I've never played them, so I'm excited. Hopefully we get a chance to do one next year. I think it would be fun. Is this the week for Matthew Golden? It better be. It better be. I said on our Let's Talk Dynasty trade show this week that it needs to be. I need to see it because Kraft is a little bit banged up. Obviously he's playing, but the other guys are Reed is out. Sorry, we just got spammed by a fucking bot. Just banned his ass. Got his ass. But yeah, it better be the week for Matthew Golden. Who for my wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 and flex? So 4 players. QJ, Debo, Devontae, Franklin, Booty, Hollywood. And then there's more, actually. Henderson, Charbonnet, Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Jacobs are my starters. Hold on, what the hell? Okay, so that's kind of, you're just giving us the team there, Juan. But we are picking the 3 wide receivers in a flex. Okay, I just want to make sure we're getting this question right. Debo and Adams would be in the lineup for me. So them, and then probably Hollywood and QJ from this list. So those would be the 4 for me. Second league, who for my wide receiver 2 in flex? He has Njigba, DJ Moore, Trav, or QJ. Running backs are Javonte, Ramondre, and Kyron. Who for my wide receiver 2 in flex? I would go... I'm assuming these guys are not in your lineup, the running backs you're talking about. Javonte should be in your flex if he's not in your starting lineup. So I would go in Njigba and Javonte, or in Njigba and Kyron. I'm sorry, Juan. I'm having a hard time following like who's in your lineup and who's not in your lineup when you drop all of the names like that. Maybe I'm just the one being slow, but I'm having a hard time following. Nolan says Dynasty 12 team, super flex PPR start 10. I need depth to contend. I don't have my 2026 first. I'm sending Burrow, T, and JSN and getting back AJ Brown, Montgomery, Herbert, and Rashee Rice. I don't love this, Nolan, because you're already out your first, and I don't like you further pushing in the chips to try and get this to happen. I would be holding JSN the best I could. So if I can move Burrow and T to get Herbert, Rice, and Monty, like, or something like that. Like I'm trying to hold JSN, but I don't love you trying to like further push the chips in just to force a contention. But yeah, I think I would be trying to find a way to keep JSN on this roster. It is super flex. Oh, I skipped a couple. Dan says, sucks you can't get value on Bowers. Hard life lessons I've learned is no matter what the experts value a player, your league at the end of the day determines what a player is worth. Absolutely. And this is why I say on multiple occasions, Dan, every league has its market. Every league has its own market. So I can tell you to go buy or sell somebody all the time, and I can tell you who I like. But at the end of the day, your league is going to determine whether that's feasible information or not, because they need to react to players in their own way. Third league, who's my RB1 and 2 and flex spot? Kyron, Javonte, Kamara, Cook, Stevenson, Quentin Johnston, Travis Hunter, or DJ Moore? Well, James Cook already played, so I'm assuming you can't pick him anymore. So I would go Javonte, Kamara, and Kyron for the RB1, 2, and flex. Could you pick one? Pacheco, Judkins, or Booty? I think I'm going to go Pacheco. Pick 2, Egbuka, Diggs, Golden, Franklin. Give me Egbuka and Diggs, I think. Egbuka and Diggs. Jag says, do you have merch available? I would love to support. So we do have t-shirts and stuff that I've made. These are not for sale yet because I haven't went through the process of getting a website, a store, and things like that in store. But I would the goal is to one day be able to give you guys some merch or some t-shirts and some stuff like that. So definitely something that is on the agenda. It's not available right now, Jag, but I would greatly appreciate it if when it is available you still feel that same way. So that would be great. But I'm glad to hear that you would love to support it. I'm glad to hear that you guys want merch, because I think it's I love the t-shirts, but it would be even cooler to see you guys wearing the t-shirts, because that would just mean a lot to me. Johnny says, if Wentz falters this week, do the Vikes call on Kirko chains? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think if Wentz falters this week, you just kind of have to start looking at the season as maybe this is more of a developmental season than it is anything, which would suck because I didn't feel like we were in like a developmental year. Maybe I should have felt a little bit more like that with a rookie quarterback, but I don't think it's like call Kirk back into the lineup. I think that door is closed, if we're being honest. Sutton or Pearsall, give me Sutton. Anthony says hoodies. I have hoodies too, and the hoodies, actually I like the hoodies more than the t-shirts. I like both of them, but the hoodies are dope. I found a company that has like blanks, and I love the feel of them. I'm a big, like, the clothing has to feel good on me for me to like want to sell it to you guys, because like I want to make sure that you guys are getting like high quality shit. Like I don't want to give you some cheap shit where it's like those rough scratchy t-shirts and I'm just screen printing some bullshit on it and it's peeling and stuff like that. Like I don't want to give you guys junk. I want to make sure if we're doing it right. I need a flex, so pick one. Harold, Igbuka, Henderson, Rashad White. Give me Igbuka. He says I'm worried a little bit about Igbuka. I would be too, but I think he's better than those options. If Hampton has another down week, is he firmly out of lineups until the breakout? Also, Hampton or Judkins in PPR this week? Probably. I would still play him over Judkins right now, though. Those guys are kind of in similar situations, in my opinion. Keith says PPR, flex one, Ridley, Hampton, Dobbs, or Troy Frank. Bo Nix is my QB. Do I take the stack? I would not play Troy Frank over... I don't think I'd play him over Ridley. Yeah, I think I'm still playing Ridley over Troy Frank. Dan says my sister is looking to expand her crochet business, homemade League FFB hats. Think about it. Dude, so this is the thing, actually. I'm a hat guy. I wear hats all the time, and I'm a big like snapback, like I wear new era hats, and that's what this is. And I'll be honest, I've wore the shit out of this hat, but I don't love the way that they embroidered it. I think the embroidery is mediocre at best. They said it's because my logo's too complex or whatever, but I need to find somebody who can do hats well. And I know, Dan, you may be trolling a tiny bit, but I need to find somebody who can do hats well, whether it be screen printing or embroidery. But I do like embroidery more than I like the screen printing. But the hats are big for me because I'm a hat guy. I want to wear hats all the time. So those and beanies, because in the winter I wear beanies too. I think some League FFB beanies would be dope. So those are kind of things that I'm looking at. Tingley says, "Heyo," and Tingley, I think it's the first time I've seen you this year. So maybe I haven't. Maybe it's not, but I feel like it's the first time I've seen you, so welcome back. It says PPR, flex one with Pearsall, Dobbins, and Swift. I would go Pearsall over those other guys. Brett says I want all of the shirts to be Gildan. I think that's the brand that I'm talking about, Brett, the cheap shit. Brew City Bob, and for the record, sorry, I'm going back on it. Now you got me on a tangent about merch and stuff like this, but I kind of like talking about the business side of this. But the thing with the shirts too is like, I'm not trying to make a massive profit on these. Like, I'm not gonna sell you guys some t-shirts for $40 or $50 fucking dollars. Like, relax. I'm a fantasy football content creator, and you guys just want to support the business. So like, I'll take whatever the profit is. The profit margins can be small or whatever, but the reality is, like, right now, I just want you guys to wear the merch. I want you to support the brand. I want you to feel connected to the brand, because I'm more concerned about brand awareness and that close-knit feeling of a community here, building that at this brand, than I am about making profits and shit like that. Like, that's why I haven't done a paid Discord yet. That's why I haven't done anything like that. Like, all of these things are on the wall of things that come down the road, to turn this more and more and more into a business. But I care so much more about community at the current moment than I do profits. And that'll come down the line. That'll happen eventually. Like, this is a business. Like, this is my job, right? This is my full-time job here that I'm doing. Thankfully, I'm blessed to do that. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So there's my little rant, but hopefully you guys understand and feel it. Full PPR, tight end premium. You got Njoku, Bill, or Ertz. Also, Igbuka, Shaheed, or Jalen Warren. Thanks, bro. Good luck this week. Good luck to you too, Brew City. I'm going to go with the full PPR tight end premium. I think I'm going to go with Njoku. And then for your wide receiver question, I guess your flex question probably with Jalen Warren in there, I'm going to go with Igbuka. So let's go with Njoku and Igbuka. I think those are the two that I would be playing. Trevor Lawrence, Geno, Michael Penix, Mac Jones need to start one. Give me Trevor Lawrence. Does London get back on track this week? I hope so. I do have him right now currently sitting as my wide receiver 6 in my rankings this week. So I do project a decent week, but I've kind of had him up there the last couple of weeks as well. It just feels like it should happen sooner rather than later. Jacob says, pick one for the flex, full PPR, ETN, Pollard, Connor, Pittman, or AJ Brown. I think ETN is the answer. I want it to be AJ Brown, but I think ETN is the answer. I'm down for a League FFB beanie. Dude, I'm telling you, I think those would be fire in the winter. Brett says, got any quick money lines or spread predictions? I did say earlier, my underdog of the week was, I like the Raiders over the Commanders. I think they're just a slight underdog right now. I like them. And then I do like another close game. I like, Pittsburgh over New England. So there's 2 money lines for you, Brett, if you want to put them together. The Raiders and the Steelers. Tingley says, yeah, thank you. Glad to be back. I was on vacation in Europe the first 2 weeks of the season. Still did fantasy, but because of the time difference, I was missing streams. All good, man. I'm glad that you were able to get it in, and hopefully that Europe vacation was fun. It sounds like it would be fun. I've never actually been to Europe. Kel says, Tyler Warren or Juwan Johnson? Give me Tyler Warren over Juwan Johnson. Dylan says, let's have a day. I agree with this. Full PPR, 2 questions. I need 1 tight end and 1 flex. So you go Juwan, Tucker Kraft, Judkins, Egbuka on a snap count. So I would go with the tight end. Give me Tucker Kraft. And I'm going to go with Egbuka over Judkins still. The one defensive special teams, Bengals at the Vikings, Washington versus the Raiders, or the Chargers versus the Broncos. I don't think I'm going to take... I think I'm going to take the Chargers here. I'm going to take the Chargers for the defensive question, Dylan. Chief, Colts, or Bucks defense? Give me the Bucks defense. Is Egbuka the best rookie wide receiver? I think the best rookie wide receiver is Tedoroa McMillan. But Egbuka, I just did updated rookie rankings. I think Egbuka is my wide receiver 2 in those rankings. But I still would do Tedoroa over Egbuka. What happens to Egbuka when Godwin returns? I think that's still something that we're going to be paying attention to, but I think Egbuka is here to stay. Wentz or Browning? I like Wentz more than Browning this week. Giants over Chiefs? No. Why are we back here, Jag? I'm taking Rams over the Birds this week in Pick'ems. I don't mind it. That's a good underdog play too, because I think the Birds are favored in that one. Anthony says Steelers won't hit. I guess we'll see. Marcy says, hey, Andrew, do you still like Egbuka over Sutton? I think I've switched my opinion there because of the news of him being limited. I do have Sutton over Egbuka now in my rankings because of that news. But it's tough to tell really what Egbuka is going to look like. Sometimes we hear about this limited thing, and then it's not that limited. And then sometimes it's like, yeah, he's barely playing. So I would go Sutton here. Is it still Egbuka over Olave, Pearsall, and Myers this week? I would still go Egbuka over... I think I have him over all of those guys. Actually, no. I have Myers ahead of Egbuka. So I guess Myers is the only one that I have ahead of him right now. Pearsall is still below him by 1 spot. And Olave is below him. So I guess I would go Myers. Edison says, hey, Egbuka, Henderson, or Diggs? 0-2, please help. It's Egbuka still, unfortunately. It's still Egbuka. Mason or Egbuka? I would go Jordan Mason. Tight end better pop this week. McBride, Bowers, Warren, touchdown parlay is at plus 3,400. I like that, Dan. Knicks versus Chargers or Stroud or A-Rod, 6-point passing. I would go Knicks still. Genty or Tony Pollard or J-Mo. Still give me Genty. Igbuka or Jalen Warren in a full PPR. I think I'm still going Igbuka here. Actually, I think the safer play is Jalen Warren, actually. I probably would play Jalen Warren, actually, now that I think about it. And she says, thanks, Andrew. No problem. So it does feel like we're, at least on your questions, Marcy, we're a little bit out on Jalen or Igbuka this week. Kel says, Ricky P, Cortland Sutton, and Adams. Give me Sutton and Adams here. Igbuka or Troy Franklin. Give me Igbuka. Everybody say a prayer for me. I put in a 9-legger, $1 to 1,000. It's probably like some crazy shit. Evan says, thanks, man. And I am going to final call here because we're at an hour. So we're going to start getting ready for the games here in about 30 minutes. But I'm going to speed through these questions and try and get to the last of them. But once we get caught up, we are going to end the stream here. Falcons or Colts defense. Let's see. I have the Falcons higher than the Colts defense by a few spots. Nico touchdown and over 71.5 receptions. Tet touchdown. London touchdown. Warren over 21.5 receiving. Lamb touchdown. Rome touchdown. Jordan Mason touchdown. Monty touchdown. $1 to 1,000. I mean, it's a crazy bet, but I like it still. DJ M to stack with Caleb or Myers. Full PPR. Thank you. Give me DJ Moore. I like the over in that game, and it's a highly projected game total, so I do like that one. Anthony says Pat Nation. That makes sense. Why you would say the Steelers are not going to win. Edison says, how many targets for Igbuka today? What are you predicting? I have no idea. They say he's limited. Like I said, sometimes that means slightly limited. Sometimes that means very limited. I'm going to assume he's out there still and probably still involved in this offense. So target-wise, probably still seeing... Let's pull up the game log so I can actually give you a real. He saw 6 and 7 over the last couple of weeks. So like limited, I'm going to say 4 or 5 targets, probably, Edison. Let's see. Johnny says obligatory or whatever. I can't say it right now. Weekly question. Where do you have J-Mo ranked this week and why isn't it higher? Detroit might be pass heavy playing from behind this week against Baltimore. I don't think it's changed since the last stream, dude. Actually, I think he went up a tiny bit. Where are we at? $29, Johnny. One last question, Pearsall or Hampton? I would go Pearsall over Hampton. Insidious says, thanks, Andrew. Good luck this week with Wentz. Thank you, brother. Hopefully it goes well. Marcy says, you like banged up Kraft over Fannin? I do. PPR, Pearsall or Sutton? I think I still have Sutton higher, so I'm going Sutton there. Ertz or Goddard? Give me Ertz. Dabbled a little $5 on Nico, Ladd, Debo, and Drake London. All 2+ touchdown turns into like 120,000. Goddamn. Probably just donated the casino $5, but hey, you never know. Jay says, I'm late today, guys. Just woke up. Was out way too late last night. All good, Jay. We did call final call, so if you have a question, get it in here ASAP, like right now, because we are about to end this. Edison says, you think one of them targets our end zone? I have no idea. It's tough to tell. It's too, I guess, up in the air for me to just like sit there and tell you where he's going to be targeted and when and stuff like that. Like it's too tinfoil hat. But but we can hope so. We can only hope so. Okay, so Jay got his question in. He says, so I have BTJ, Igbuka, Debo, and Jameson Williams. I have to sit one of these guys. Who are you sitting in a half PPR league? Also, you get a scoring bonus for points and long touchdowns. I think the answer is, if you're getting scoring bonuses for long points and touchdowns, I think I'll sit Igbuka. But I'm not super confident in that. But I think I'll sit Igbuka with the limited news. Rough week, half PPR, Scadaboo, Hollywood, or Hunter as the flex. Give me Hollywood. Marcy says, appreciate it as Andrew's all. Appreciate it as always, Andrew. Thank you, Marcy. I appreciate you as well. Tingley says thanks. And then final question. This is the buzzer beater. Olave or Igbuka, 0-2, need to win bad and would hate for Igbuka to be limited today. If you're 0-2 and you need the safety, Olave's a play that I'm fine with. Okay, Trap, you're the last one. Literally, I'm calling it here, folks. George Pickens or Garrett Wilson. Not trying to overthink it, but I don't know. Give me Garrett Wilson still. And that's it, folks. So great stream today. Great stream today. I see we're at 42 likes. Thank you guys for those. Our like goal is 25, so it's dope seeing you guys hit all the likes here. As always, you know, like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff if you guys have the time on some of the other videos uploaded later this week. And appreciate everybody for being here and hanging out with me this morning. Like I said, very fun stream. Hopefully you guys have a very good week 3. Lots of stuff to go on in this game of fantasy football. So hopefully good things happen for you guys. But I have nothing else for you guys today, so I'll see you on our next episode. But until then, peace out.